10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick.
I speak for the trees.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Beastmaster.
Invoker.
Dire team pick.
Alchemist.
Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve
I should
time.
have seen that one coming.
Radiant team pick.
Vengeful spirit.
Dire team pick. 10 seconds remaining.
Night Stalker.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Enigma.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Gyrocopter!
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant
Drow
team
Ranger.
pick. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Rick.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Prepare for battle. Thirty seconds to battle. The battle begins.
We'll take
Where's
that.
my pension?
The Alchemist too, and they managed to get both bounty runes. That is sick. They're going to be very happy with themselves. So, yeah, I like what they're doing here. I think this is the right play. The aggro dual lane of Night Stalker and Furion up against the Vengeful Spirit and Drone Ranger. So this lane can actually, I think, contest the Drone Ranger Venge. I think it's actually pretty decent here. And then we already talked about how Pingvinchek is going to be doing all right for himself in the mid lane against the Invoker. And then top lane is a Rubik versus a Rubik Gyrocopter versus Kezu's Beastmaster. Kezu being obviously the one guy we haven't talked about, no Diggity. He's also been a newer player, came over from the Heroes of Newerth scene, and just with sheer determination, I think, has managed to carve his way into a nice tier 2 European team. And his future is looking really bright. Like he is on my short list actually of future superstars of Dota 2. I think Kezu, he's got the right attitude, he's got the skills, and he seems just super invested into becoming better. I think he's going to be a great player. I think he already is, but I think he's really going to become one of those top tier players in another 6 months or so. Kezu is going to be run down here by the Gyrocopter. Rocket Barrage away, but we'll be able to stay ahead of the Rubik. Noyan has to Joe, putting some pressure onto Era as they can. But Kezu, in such a short span of time, managed to go from the Heroes of Newerth community into Dota 2, went from low 5K to 6K to now 7K.
Good heavens!
Dude's just been grinding away. And from what I hear, he's just always open to. He's always asking for help. And I imagine on a team that has such experienced members like Diggity does, I bet he gets a lot of good feedback. But Danish Bears, they're obviously no slouches either. They've got some decently experienced names. Maybe not the same legends as like Syndrin or Era. But they do have some names that if you paid attention to the Tier 2 scene for Tier 2, Tier 3 scene for a while now, you should definitely recognize. Such as Ace and Rise, those two have been together for quite some time. Crit used to play with them. Of course, you guys know Crit from OG. He's had a pretty fantastic run on OG. He's one of those guys that, again, was kind of expected to do quite well for himself and finally found a Tier 1 team to support that. But I think Ace is one of the more talented members of Danish Bears. Really great at aggressive carries, and this is kind of one of those perfect heroes for it too. The Gyrocopter. They ran a safe lane Legion Commander yesterday against Empire. Ace just like single-handedly won that game for Danish Bears. He was a beast.
Denied.
Hester Joe Rotten, Rise. I would say some like you may actually recommend. Ooh, the TPN. They're actually going to go for Kezu here. Hester Joe is here, not even really needing a Sprout, just a little bit of body blocking. They probably would have gotten anyway. Ace will pick up the first blood against Kezu. It's just a matter of time, I think. Kezu eventually is going to get caught out by a lane like this. He steps just a little bit too far forward. Rise gets the telekinesis, and it's kind of game over from there for him. Ace is level 5, so kind of looking for him to pick up level 6 to level 7 and rotate bottom. Meanwhile, the Night Stalker trying to put pressure on YapzOr's Enigma, who is level 5. He's got the Soul Ring. It will start building up into the mech in some time. Noya actually cutting across, looking to push in that mid lane. But it is... Okay, he doesn't even have a mana nor unstable concoction level, so I'm not even sure what Noya's plan was there. Why he was even creeping on the middle lane. If anything, he should be the hero scouting out this this side jungle area to see the rotations. Hester Joe is not going to be caught out though. As expected, Pingvincheck is doing pretty well for himself in the mid lane. He's actually been one of those kind of like pub stars that seems to be pretty talented, and he's definitely done a good job on Danish Bears. He has some iffy moments, I would say. A little inconsistent, but he's definitely been an asset to this team since he was I believe he was the latest member to join. That was a few months ago. Anyway, he's doing pretty well in the mid lane. 34-1 compared to the 32-7 of the Invoker. Bottom lane, a little bit more damage on air, but now they're going to be turned around on. Hester Joe's definitely dead. Noya just needs to get the hell out of here. Make sure not to be caught by YapzOr, who is not quite yet level 6, so didn't have that black hole ready to go. Now we pray to the bounty gods. Oh no! Normally a Rude you would always be happy to see as a mid laner. A mid laner with the bottle. But unfortunately, Pingvincheck, he's not the hero that actually wants a regeneration. He wants that filthy bounty room. You know who else is on that short list? Moo and Kezu, man. Those guys. I think those guys have very bright futures. Moo obviously on the new Digital Chaos. The 4 Europeans plus 1 American.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
What the unholy kind of... Alright, okay. I'm like, what the hell? Alright, here's that rotation that we were talking about though. He gets his level 7, he's got Phase Boots and Ring of Aquila. They smoke up with a Night Stalker. This is going to be pretty standard rotation but it looks like no Diggity is going to be caught out by it. Synderen's going to tank the gank though, and that is favorable. But Danish Bears, with this kind of setup, may still go for the dive. In fact, Noya's already going to start scouting out. Era, so smart though, is going to sneak through that side area and will manage to get himself out. If only an Ace had stuck around this area, maybe they could have still caught the Draw Ranger. That was, you know, public enemy number one. They really wanted to pick off that Draw Ranger before she started that steamroll. Still though, with this kind of rotation, they get a support, they get a tier 1 tower. This harkens all the way back to TI5 and the way CDEC, they routinely ran that gank over and over and over again. And if you're just fast enough with it, most teams are going to be caught out by it. Even if you just get a support, and that's the thing, like you smoke up, you just get a support for that, but you're also going to get the tier 1 tower like 9 times out of 10. Unless a team is like preemptively rotating to deal with that kind of push. $53-1. Pingvinchek doing a great job, man. He's already 1,000 gold up ahead of anybody else at this point. As to Joe getting some recovery levels since he did have the dual lane with Noya. Interesting that Noya, I would have expected actually an Iron Talon to try and utilize the jungle a little bit at this point as a Night Stalker, just because you're going to get that glimpse of gold at, I think, a pretty prime opportunity. Hesta Joe, is he going to be caught by the black hole? He will. There's still going to be Noya. Now, Furion's definitely dead, but there is going to be a big turnaround, and Dave's going to come up. They already got the Primal Roar, and Yapzor almost managed to survive because of that one, but neither one of the supports will. No Diggity get caught out. The same kind of rotation that Danish Bears just did to no Diggity. They try it out for themselves by rotating the greedy 4 position up to the top lane, seeing if the Enigma can put the that black hole to use, but Danish Bears already on top. Armlet up for Pingvinchek. I like this choice. I don't think he necessarily should worry about the Radiance build. I think just some early fighting capability is the best thing you could do for Danish Bears at this point. And it looks like Danish Bears are going to go for the full-out push on the tier 1. They've got the Furion. They've got they've got 4 spirits rather. Sorry, 4 spirits for the Rubik. But I think it's so smart because Danish Bears are just taking the tempo control of this game. Pingvinchek is going to be ganked up though. Extends himself a little too far forward. He will survive though. TPs are going to be canceled, at least one of them was, as Ace wants to stick around for this tier 1 tower. And Rise, he'll see the bounty rune, see if he can hold it out here for Pingvinchek, as Quaifa's already making his way over. Think it's going to be possible, my friend. Quaifa's going to take it. So they've taken the 2 side lane towers. If they can get the mid tower before Necronomicon is up for Kedzu, because no Diggity, despite having this really big push lineup, they're not going to be very ready to push until about 20-25 minutes. You want to get some levels on Necronomicon. You want to get some of your basic stat and even fighting items on Draw Ranger. You may even want BKB before you really try and challenge tier 2s. And then, of course, Invoker is always a hero that just needs time. He gets the hand of Midas to try and speed up his levels a little bit, but his standard for team fighting is usually like level 15 and at. You know, you want to be able to have level 16, obviously, you want to be able to have that level 3 Invoke, plus the Aghanims to lower the cooldown even further, and just get the big boost in the Exort damage. Darkness goes out. Noya, despite, you know, I expected an Iron Talon out of him. It looks like his rotation did work out. He managed to get the Urn charges. That kind of an investment is pretty important, right? If you go for the Urn, it means you're expecting to be able to get some sort of kill. You need those charges, and he did manage to be a part of an important kill.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
This might mean he falls a little bit far behind when it comes to his Aghanim Scepter, but at the same time, with the way that Danish Bears are trying to take control of the game, you know, right now, before no Diggity is ready with their heavy push lineup, I like the idea. It kind of feels, it completes the philosophy that Danish Bears are going for with this game so far. mass rotations here. Looks like they may back up and smoke. Again, it's nighttime. You want to try and take control of that middle tier 1. And if they could get some sort of good aggressive smoke, rotate through the jungle, and catch anybody, maybe even behind the tower, it's a little bit iffy, but again, you're smoked, you have, you know, the element of surprise to your favor. What you really want to do is rotate into the tower and catch a big carry, but unfortunately no one's there. Instead they'll get Yapzor who's farming away. It's a great pickoff, and they'll take control of this tier 1, and it doesn't seem like no Diggity is going to be capable of defending. They are very wisely going to go for the split push. Their lineup just isn't ready for fighting this. They're not ready to contest Danish Bears.
Dire's top tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
It looks like they're going to go straight from that tier 1 to Roshan too. Ah, man, I love this. I mean, just look at this. It's 13. It's going to be like, what, 13 and a half minutes? They will have taken all the tier 1 towers. They will have taken Roshan. They'll have Aegis in their hands. That means they've secured themselves, you know, control, most likely, for another 5 minutes. Unless no Diggity can actually contest, they've got a full 5-man smoke come in. Yapzor has the mech too, so they've actually got some of their teamfight items. They will be spotting some of these heroes on their way in and are going straight for Yapzor here. Noya goes a little bit too far forward, does get stunned and taken out, but Kezu's already down. They pop the mech. Ace is willing to buy his, just blow the Aegis right now. Just blow the Aegis to make sure that Danish Bears can continue and win this team fight. And sure enough, Hesta Joe going for an aggressive TP. The rest of no Diggity have looped right back around. Are going to try and fight this one with a black hole. They managed to catch 2 of the most important carries. Then Unstable Concoction will explode. Ryze did manage to steal the black hole. And will be able to get both Synderen as well as Era in that one, ensuring that Danish Bears do win out in the end. Hesta Joe unfortunately doesn't have a TP ready, so they're not going to be able to get the total wipe. The Invoker barely surviving off that ultimate from the Furion. But still, a great fight there for Danish Bears. They no longer have the Aegis, but they just bought themselves a pretty big net worth and experience lead with that kind of team fight. And now, this is the part where I get a little iffy. This is the part for Danish Bears. I'm not really sure what is their best play here. Do they continue to play aggressive? Because, you know, no Diggity. They're not ready to go just yet. They have Necronomicon 1 on Kezu. I guess they do have the mech. It may still be dangerous to try and fight. Danish Bears, Ace. Almost gonna die here. The Unstable Concoction. Turn around onto Kezu. Almost getting that kill, but a nice gust push back there from Era. Turn around and look at a kill. Hesta Joe first off. Taking the check, being controlled up by the Yule Scepter, is now gonna be swapped back into the danger zone. And Ace couldn't really do anything to stop it, so he's the only one who lives, despite his allies being the ones that bail him out and end up dying for all of that. Because here's the thing, Danish Bears, their lineup, they could try and go late, right? A Drone Ranger lineup is naturally just going to kind of run itself out once you start going later on into the game. And no Diggity, while they're not at their peak, by no means are they at their peak just yet. They need Necronomicon number 3. They probably want to be able to have BKB on Era. Obviously, you're going to get some of the stat items, so it looks like Era is going to be going for Yasha. I think S and Y this game may be important. But if you can get the S and Y and BKB, like that's going to be your big peak for no Diggity. And that's when they're going to look like they're almost unstoppable. And they're able to just 5-man push towers and go high ground against you and that sort of thing. So do Danish Bears want to continue to fight and continue to put pressure on no Diggity now, or do they want to try and play more of a passive game and hold on to the lead that they have right now? Because they do have an Alchemist. An Alchemist, you know, the length of this game is just going to play more and more into the Alchemist's favor. He may not be the hardest carry in the game, but you've got a lot of heroes which will take advantage. In fact, every single one of them has an Axe upgrade. If you even want to, you know, talk about the super late game where Alchemist is 6-slotted and giving away Axe, but Danish Bears should have the better late game. So they can try and just hold this advantage and play more of a passive game where you're just relying on the Alchemist to outfarm the enemy.
Dire's
And that's not necessarily like, it would still mean the rest of Danish Bears could get a lot done, because No Diggity, they're very
Radiant's
much going to be a
bottom tower is
5-man
under
lineup.
attack.
And No Diggity, for example, right now, they're showing 5. We're going to see the philosophy difference here. You know, Danish Bears could have gone for what, you know, the minute No Diggity show themselves in mid lane, they could have gone for, you know, a split push. So Pingvicek goes up to the top lane, pushes out the Alchemist, Joe, and the rest of his boys push out bottom hard. But they're still going to contest this tier 1 tower. They're making sure No Diggity don't get anything for free right now. But this is actually going to lead into a smoke rotation across for No Diggity that will catch out Joe. So Danish Bears feel like they're strong enough still to be able to 5-man contest No Diggity, which I'm definitely not going to say no to them. Still holding on to that 3,000 gold lead. They're getting some of their big core items. You've got the SNY for the gyrocopter. It's going to be an SNY for Pingvicek, or is he going Halberd in this game? Halberd actually would be a really cost-effective item against Draw Ranger and all this physical damage that's being thrown at you. I kind of expected an earlier armor item. You know, maybe even going straight for an AC by this point wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Just, you know, big armor upgrade for yourself and all your team. But if you can get the Halberd on the Draw Ranger, and she doesn't have that BKB, and she's not going Manta either. What is this course? Oh, sorry. Missed a kill. Furion died. Koipa picks him off, has the, he had the Heal Scepter, but it looks like he just blinked and killed him. Anyway, the Cordyceps, is he going like straight Butterfly? Is he going the Dragon, whatever the hell that thing's called? Noya? Uh-oh. Noya's gonna be caught. Ace does have the call down, but I think they just abandoned Night Stalker at this point. Don't even try. Don't even try. And with these many heroes missing, there's no way they stop this. I mean, maybe they lay down Acid Spray, but I really think, okay, Danish Bears are going to fight. 15 seconds until the Night Stalker's back up. I mean, you wouldn't be posturing for here unless you're looking to actually defend and fight over this tower. And with the Night Stalker coming up, No Diggity will not actually complete their push. They almost have the Ags for Quaipa. I think they're just a little bit nervous about pushing in while it's still nighttime. And that's reasonable. Yeah, the Dragon Lance, that's what it is. Well, I knew it was Dragon something. Not sure if I'm a big fan of this item. When it was first picked up, some people experimented with it. And, you know, they were like, oh, it's, you know, this really cost-effective item where you're able to go the Dragon Lance, break it apart, you'll have a Quarterstaff for your Butterfly later, and you'll have the Ogre Club to build your BKB. So the idea being, you build the Dragon Lance, and as soon as you have enough for your BKB, you split it apart and get it. But I think players have discovered that it's just like, it's not really worth it a lot of the time. Obviously, you know, it's like an Enchantress item, for sure, obviously. But on some of these other heroes, like the Draw Ranger, I've seen some Draw Rangers just feel like it's not really worth it. You're just slowing down your BKB. Why not just go straight BKB then?
Dire's middle tower
Rise.
is under
Ooh,
attack.
some of this smoke is going to be popped. Noya does have nighttime vision, so he's going to be pretty happy here. As he managed to get the silence on Yapzor. Yeah, he may be targeted down, but Pingvicek is going to be able to get Yapzor before he gets anything off there. Only the Midnight Pulse to bounce back there with the Deafening Blast, managed to get the Meteor. Era is actually right-clicking in town. He's actually managed to take out Ace. Pingvicek is still going to go down, and a big win there for No Diggity. Danish Bears thinking even with the silence on the Enigma that they would be able to win that engagement, but they are completely wrong at No Diggity. They're very rapidly going to be raking in the gold now. But I like this. You know, I like No Diggity, the fact that they're choosing to aggressively smoke and try and fight as much as possible. Because they've hit a serious peak with the Aghanim Scepter on the Invoker. They managed to get that tier 2. They're going to get the tier 1 bottom. In fact, this Dragonlance really isn't going to last long
Dire's
because
bottom
this
tower is under attack.
he's going to go for the Manta style next. Okay, it's going to last a little
Dire's
longer than I
bottom tower
expected.
has fallen.
Maybe Aaron doesn't feel like BKB is a necessity, so if he was going to go Manta, I just expected Manta straight up, but I guess the Dragonlance tanks you up a little bit. Still the opportunity to split it out later on. But I kind of feel like Danish Bears, you know, we talked about this conundrum. Danish Bears, when they were ahead, do they try and secure that lead by playing more aggressively and continuing to fight no diggity, or do they back out and just play kind of a farming game? I think we found our answer now. After the last 2 team fights, it's gotta be farming time. I don't think you really wanna try and fight no diggity anymore, especially after they just brought in that huge amount of gold from the last 2 fights and 2 different towers. Kazu has his Blink Dagger and he has Necronomicon number 2. Meanwhile, you still don't have Axe on Night Stalker. Ace doesn't have a... Actually, do you even get BK? You don't. I don't think you get BKB here. So maybe you... Like, I remember there was Gyrocopter when BKB was not a good item to go for. We saw SNY into Scotty. You know, just trying to stat up as much as possible. Put yourself over the 2k marker when it comes to HP while still outputting good damage. But he may just want to stat up in this game. Biggest threat is going to be, if he doesn't go BKB, is getting Meteor blasted to death. But if you look at the rest of his team, it's either disables that go through BKB, such as Enigma, Black Hole, Roar, you've got the swap on Vengeful Spirit, or it's just a lot of physical damage or right-click damage.
From the goddess.
Pingvincheck does go for the SNY. Didn't really keep up to date on his items. Should be. It's an alchemist. He gets them pretty fast. This is getting pretty concerning. The fact that Qualifier is massively out-farming Pingvincheck now. You just cannot be behind as an alchemist. Even if this is more of like an early game fighting build on the alchemist, you need to be able to have you need to be able to still keep that net worth over anybody else. It's an alchemist at even with the enemy team, just not a good pair. Just not good enough. So no diggity, they definitely have their chance to come back in the last 10 minutes. You've seen about a 6,000, almost 7,000 gold swing.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
No diggity haven't even reached their final form yet. Next, it should be Roshan. Should be Roshan for no diggity. And I'm just not sure if Danish Bears can actually contest them. I mean, if it was nighttime, you would say for sure. They have the Ag. They're still going to try. They've got Darkness. Jeez, look how fast it goes, though. They just can't get there in time. So Aegis already picked up by no diggity. The damage done by the Furion ults quickly rectified by that Guardian Greaves. Danish Bears. Gotta start putting some pressure on the map in some of these other lanes, because it's pretty obvious no diggity are just gonna 5-man into that tier 2. They're not showing too many of their heroes. They're making it look like, you know, there's a possibility. These are the kind of next level mind games that happen, right? At the very basic level, if Draw Ranger's showing himself, it means that there's 4 behind him, right? And they're pushing it. But sometimes you'll see teams, they'll show, like in such a big advantage like this, when they know the enemy isn't going to contest them, they'll show the Draw Ranger pushing in the lane, but they'll actually like 4-man smoke the rest of their team to the opposite side of the map and maybe gank the enemy jungle or something like that. And the enemy's caught unawares because they just, you know, naturally expect, okay, they're 4 behind Era, we're not going to fight that. No Diggity just taking it the next level, just keeping 4 behind Arab but not showing. Waiting to see whether or not Danish Bears will contest. They do need every little advantage they can to stop this push from No Diggity, because this is about the strongest they're going to get. Jesus, look at that damage. Holy crap. Swap back. Heads to Joe. You're dead. Dead. Better than Dornell. Nate's going to make his initiation, but already hit by the Primal Roar. Unfortunately, that Tornado does disrupt things a little bit. They couldn't get damage onto him immediately, but still enough to force him back. While Pinkman can't even finish off the Yapsor. The Black Hole does end up going down, and Danish Bears, they're not good enough. They're just like too far behind. They're not far enough ahead to stop No Diggity once they reach that peak. And we talked about the fact that, yeah, Danish Bears are doing the right things. They're playing aggressively. They're making sure to try and get an advantage before No Diggity hit their peak. But you see, in a push lineup like this, the reason they're so dangerous is that peak happens in 25 minutes. And yeah, you may not feel like that team really hasn't done much, but they can do so much now that they've reached their full power, their full force. They can do so much in such